people, how you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. I'm here today to do another video on minimalism. It's been a while and I wanted to come back and just talk about some real stuff. I want to talk about the struggles that I have had during the time I've been a minimalist. Now, it took me a while to even call myself that because I knew I wasn't ready yet. I knew I hadn't fully plunged in. And I just said, you know, I'm striving towards minimalism. But I did get to a point after decluttering everything, after really kind of giving myself that psychological mind shift in spending, to the point where I feel as if I can call myself a minimalist in most areas of my life. So as time has gone on and I didn't have that kind of obsession with minimalism and got back into like my normal routine and lifestyle, I came across some challenges and I want to share them with you guys. One, because I just want to vent and get it out there that these things can happen or you can feel this way. Don't just stop what you're doing. Kind of rethink how you're going to be able to still live this lifestyle while being realistic, right? This video is probably going to be long because I got a lot to say, but I do have everything kind of categorized. So let's start off talking about skincare. If you're one of my subscribers and you know how much I love skincare, and this has been a challenge with me being a minimalist. Skincare can be tricky because if you're someone like me who actually really enjoys it, there are quite a few steps. You have whatever you remove your makeup with. That could be like a wipe, a balm. I have usually a wipe and a balm, and then a cleanser, and then a lighter cleanser, an exfoliator, masks, a toner, a moisturizer, oils, and it's just a lot of different categories. Now, once I find the one I love, that's the only thing I want to use. But where it got tricky for me was the oils. When you are somebody who really understands skincare and enjoys it, you usually tend to play around with different things that your skin needs. So when your skin is super dry, you put something on. When it's very oily, you might use something different. And of course, the seasons do change, and when they do, you usually do have to switch what you're using. If you get a breakout, you might use something different. So you can see how this can become very, very tricky. And I'm not going to change who I am for minimalism. So you're not going to just see me with one oil just because I say I'm a minimalist. This is where I struggle. Now, the good thing is that now a lot of department stores, especially stores like Sephora, they're now having mini size and travel size items of some of the most popular items. And this helps me a lot because that way I don't have to invest in something. If I want to try out rose hip oil for the first time, I can try it for the fraction of a cost in a smaller size. So I love that. And that's what I usually do now, but I do of course end up having more than one. Now they also have sheet masks, so you don't have to worry about investing in a whole tub of something. You can just use it as you go and depending on what your skin needs that day. Now let's talk about hair care. I wear my hair naturally and I care for my real hair. So mirroring skincare with my hair routine, there are also a lot of different steps, and accumulating products is really easy. I already feel from my hair care maintenance routine that I've minimized. So in that area, I'm okay, except for the fact that I do get sent like a ton of products at one time because I'm an influencer. When brands reach out to me, they typically send me every single product in their line. And in doing that, it can accumulate. So I find myself having to give things away to people. And it's not a big deal because like I said, I know what my hair already loves, but if you don't, or if you're one of those people who live somewhere where the seasons drastically change, I live in Southern California, so it's not a drastic change. But if you live on the East Coast, then yeah, you can have products that work so well for your hair in the summer, but not in the winter. So you end up having a lot of different products. And that can be a really hard thing too for a minimalist. I know some brands also have sample sizes. So if there's something you like and you know it only works in the summertime, then order a sample size of it just for the summer. That way the products don't go bad, because most of them are all natural, for me at least, or organic, and they're gonna go bad in like 6 months. And then you waste your money. So that's what I do, and if you guys have suggestions, let me know what you do. Now, my biggest area of struggle being a minimalist is books. I love books. I love them. I love the feeling of physical books. Now, if you watched my other video, the things I'm no longer buying, that was something I mentioned, that you can buy audiobooks, you can rent books from the library, which is the best thing to do. However, I find myself having a hard time saying no to buying books online. And then what happens is I end up not even reading half of them and they're just sitting there. So I'm still trying to figure out what I can do, because I'm not going to go to digital books. That's not me. I just don't like that. Part of reading for me is sitting there and opening up the book and having it physically in my hand and physically highlighting things. That's just what I like. So that's not going to change. I just need to figure out a better way of storing the books, or using the books as decoration, just doing other things with my books. I also give books away for people to be able to borrow often, so they're not always physically with me, which is a good thing. If I'm reading something and I think that one of my friends, my mom or sister would like it or would help them, then I pass it along. But that's because the books I usually read are more self-help books, and they're not like novels and things like that, because that would be a little bit more tricky. So let me know, for those of you guys who have the same issue with books, what do you do to minimize that piece? Now let's talk about clothing. Clothing for a lot of people is probably going to be the hardest category. Like I said, for me, it's not, and that's only because I did a huge declutter and I took the time to find out what my personal style was, which colors complement my skin tone the best, which stores carry the clothing that I like, and that way I've kind of curated my closet to have pieces that all go together. Like no matter what, everything is going to always match, everything is going to always have the same vibe to it. So that part is under control, but where I struggle is that I love dresses and I like coats and jackets and blazers. So that's a struggle, because I love dresses and they all have different designs and patterns, and just because I have one black dress doesn't mean it's strapless or a midi dress or a pencil dress. So I end up with like 17 dresses of different styles, and I'm still trying to figure out how to best narrow that down, and also figure out how to piece it or style it better, where I can wear the same dress with different accessories to make it look different. And I've been doing that a lot with my clothing. Even this that you're seeing on me right now, this is an actual like jean jacket, but I folded it to where it's off the shoulders and looks like a shawl. So I've found ways to kind of play around with clothing. That way it can look like different pieces. But that's just an area that I still struggle with, because it's easier for me to just buy something really quick than think about and piece together and be creative, because that's not where my creative skills really lie. Now, getting rid of clothes is a little bit more straightforward, a little bit easier, because you can always sell your clothes or give it to a family member or friend. I find that giving it away is just the best thing to do for me. I can't be bothered with the selling process, because it's just something that takes up too much time. I usually donate to Salvation Army or like Out of the Closet, and that works for me, because at the end of the day, I just don't want clothes piling up, and the minute I don't feel wonderful in it, the minute it looks a little bit too saggy or too big or too tight, I just give it away. I don't even want it around me if it doesn't make me happy. And I really enjoy seeing other people in my clothes. And that's not just limited to clothes. I like seeing other people happy, because really when I buy something, I'm always so excited. I'm excited when I buy it, excited when it comes in the mail, excited when I first use it. But you know, after a week or so, it just becomes like everything else, and I'm on to the next thing, and that's just kind of like human nature. But for some people who are not able to buy the things that you can buy because they cannot afford it, or because they don't have access to it in their country, or whatever the case might be, those people are very grateful for the things that you give them. It makes them feel so good. They're so happy, and it's a brand new item for them. It's just great. I love passing things on, and when you give to others, it gives you more room to receive. And what I've done now is I just have 2 bags that are always sitting there, and one of them is to donate to strangers, and the other is to donate to people that I know. Now, as you guys know, as an influencer, I also review wigs, like the one I'm wearing right now. And I know a lot of you guys have asked me for videos on how I store my wigs, because it could accumulate very quickly when you work for brands. Getting sent 2-3 wigs each month can pile up very fast, and I tend to like to switch up my style pretty drastically, so the wigs all look different, and that can make it hard for you to want to get rid of it, because you're like, what if I'm in the mood for blonde? What if I'm in the mood for magenta? Or what if I want to wear this short bob style? You may have these thoughts and feel like holding on to everything, but there's just no point. For me, finding my personal style incorporates my personal hairstyle as well. I know the hairstyles that work best for my skin tone, that work best for my face shape, and I already have like my signature wigs. So I've chosen 2 wigs that are my just signature style, And that's what I'll go back to when I really want to wear one. Otherwise, usually about a week after I review it, I donate it. And just like the clothing, I have one for friends, and then I have another one for a women's shelter that has makeup and skincare and beauty products like these. Let's talk about perfume. I am your fragrance girl, and I've talked about it in my other video that I'm linking below, so make sure to watch that one. In the past, I would have about 7 or 8 fragrances that I would just rotate. And that's what was great for me until I realized that I wasn't finishing them. So now I have 2 perfumes per season. I usually have like a daytime and a nighttime. And then as time went on, I was like, what if I want to have a daytime and a nighttime? How about that? What I ended up doing is whenever my daytime perfume started getting really low, I moved it over as the work perfume. And then I got a new daytime perfume. But then I got a brighter idea, and I said, what if I started buying roller balls? Because then I could have a little taste of a perfume for a special occasion or a trip. Because usually in the past, when I went on a trip, I would just purchase a whole new perfume. And I talked about this in my other video. Fragrance really leaves a lasting memory in my mind. I am one of those people that very much connects scents to memories. So I don't like wearing something that I wore for something big on a daily basis, because all I do is think about that subconsciously. It's not even a conscious thought. So I like having perfume just for like a special trip. And I just buy roller balls. They're a lot cheaper. There's not that much in it. And when you're done, you're done. In my things that I'm no longer buying video, I talked about home decor. And that I don't purchase home decor when I see them at the store. And it is one of the hardest things not to buy, you guys. I love Target, and I love walking in and seeing like these new plants, and I just want to buy everything. I love, love, love home decor. But I talked about why I don't buy it anymore in that other video. I do struggle when I see it out. But every now and then, I'll have something special, like those flowers you see behind me. My best friend sent them to me. It was just a really sweet gift, and I've had a rough week, so it was like the best way to end it. But I find myself usually purchasing things like flowers and plants as home decor, and candles. Now, depending on what your place looks like, how big it is, and all of that, home decor can become an issue. On YouTube, you see all these different people who are minimalist, and you see their house and it looks like perfect, all white, plants everywhere, just looking super minimalistic, super cute, and you're like, yeah, I want it to look just like that. They have like white marble floors and you got carpet. You're just like, this is not working. Don't compare yourself to other people. Please don't do that. You do what works for you. I know with my last place, it was designed, or it was styled in a way that made it easy for me not to have a lot of home decor. It was just the layout. It did not need much. It already kind of was built in. So I really didn't have to do much in that place. But where I am now, and I can give you guys an apartment tour if you would like, of like my old place. I still have some footage, so if you want, let me know and I'll do a video on that. But where I am now, it doesn't have that same look. And what I found is when people visit me here, they're like, doesn't really look like you live here. It just looks so empty and bare. And I wasn't in any way trying to copy anyone. It's just that I only had the things that I really needed. I didn't have extra junk. I didn't have extra decor. I just had the bare minimum. But it made me feel bad that my place wasn't homey, or it looked like I was broke and I couldn't afford furniture. But in all honesty, yeah, it does bother me when people say and think that. But I haven't let it bother me enough to do anything differently. Now, the last area that has been a struggle for me, I would say, are people, other people. I have the reputation in my family, and probably with most of my friends, that I'm always into something new. Like, I'm always doing something different. I'm doing some kind of cleanse. I'm starting this. I'm beginning that. And it's not that I don't follow through, it's just that I'm always having these new lifestyle changes. And that's because I enjoy living my life to the fullest, and I enjoy getting the best out of life. So when I tell them I'm doing something, they're just like, okay, Michelle, here we go again. So when I told them I was a minimalist, everyone just laughed, thought it was the funniest thing, because I was a shopaholic. Like, I loved stuff. So the thought of me being a minimalist was just ridiculous, like just ridiculous to almost everybody around me. But as time went on and they started seeing like, oh, okay, she's really about this life. Or I would make comments like, no, I don't want that, I'm a minimalist. I don't want that. I don't want this. They began calling me out. So if I came home and I had a whole bunch of shopping bags, whatever, they'd be like, I thought you said you were a minimalist. And it would happen all the time. Or like my boyfriend will see me in a new dress and be like, I have never seen you in that dress before. When'd you buy that? I thought you said you were a minimalist. So I find myself having to like defend myself or explain myself. And I just say I am a minimalist, okay? It doesn't mean that I can't buy new stuff. It doesn't mean that. And then I got accused of getting rid of stuff just to buy new stuff. And how that isn't minimalist. But I'm not going to go back and forth with these people. I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I don't need to defend my lifestyle, number one. And two, I feel like sometimes people do that because they themselves feel a little bit guilty about their own lifestyle and kind of admire what you're doing, but they're not really trying to do that. But they know that it's a good thing. So they kind of, you know, call you out on these little things just so you know that you're just like them, right? And of course, just living with other people can be a struggle. If you're married and you're a minimalist and your husband isn't and is not into your whole minimalist lifestyle, that can become an issue when it comes to your space and just not having it be cluttered. I don't have that issue right now, but that can be a huge issue for people. Even if it's not your husband, it could be your sister, it could be a roommate, and that can be really difficult. So for those of you who are minimalist and you have those situations, please leave comments on what you do so people know what they can do if they're in that situation too. Another thing that comes up for a lot of people is getting rid of things that are sentimental. This isn't really an issue for me, only because I truly try not to place a lot of emotion into things. I try. That's like something I try not to do because things come and they go, and when you hold on so tight to anything, when something happens to it, you are devastated, and I just don't like that feeling. But one tip that I can give you is if there's an item that's sentimental but you don't like it, don't want it, but you just feel guilty about giving it away, I would just take a picture of it. Take a picture of the item, the front, the back, and keep the picture. Pictures are digital, they're easier to store, you have it forever, and you don't have to worry about seeing it all the time. So that's my suggestion for that issue, whether it's a t-shirt from college, whether it's something you picked up on vacation, whether it's an old keychain from 12 years ago you got on vacation. Yes, it's not the same. The alternative is maybe having just one little tiny box and putting keepsakes and memories in that box and just keeping it somewhere. Eventually though, it's gonna just become junk, and you're gonna realize that you're not gonna open that box once a week and look at that old college t-shirt. You're just not, and you're probably gonna end up getting rid of it anyway. But if you need that kind of fade out, that transition, then just put it in a box. Another suggestion is just to watch who you watch, especially here on YouTube. As an influencer, I of course do this, but I'm also consuming it. I watch people who are doing lots of unboxings and hauls and favorites and empties all the time, and it makes me feel like buying it. Now, I will tell you this. This is really an internal issue. At the end of the day, these are psychological issues, because it doesn't have to be a YouTuber. It could be the person helping you at the grocery store who has a cute necklace and you want to buy it because you saw it was cute. Firstly, you're always going to have to work on the psychological reasons behind your shopping and your spending, but limiting the amount of people that you watch on YouTube who are constantly pushing you to buy something, that'll help. And of course, in real life, if you have friends who are always purchasing new things, I know for me, this became an issue when I was doing my doctorate program. The school that I went to was like a really rich private school, and almost everyone driving there drove like, I kid you not, the parking lot was full of like Teslas and Maseratis and all these really expensive cars. And the people in my cohort also would like come every week with like a new Tiffany necklace and all these fancy things. And I would start to feel like, okay, well, we're in the same group. Should I be having these things too? Like, because for me, it was like, okay, we're all the same age. We have the same profession. We make the same amount of money. So maybe I need to be getting that too. And I found myself doing that and keeping up with the Joneses. And it wasn't something that I was actually thinking about. It was subconscious. And just back to the YouTube thing with all of these different people who do videos on minimalism and all of that. Just know that everything isn't always what it seems. I'm not saying that these people are lying or anything like that. But what I am saying is that people do clean up for a video or move things around that normally are there. People are not always as honest as we expect them to be. So Don't put too much emphasis on trying to be like someone else. Whatever is minimalism to you is what matters. As long as you're happy, you have what you need and what you love, your space is free of clutter so that you don't feel weighed down, you're on the right track. And that's really all that matters. It's okay to be a collector. It's okay to say, I have a collection of books because I'm a book collector. I like to collect books. There's nothing wrong with having a collection of something. This is your life. This minimalism thing is a way to make your life easier. It's a way to be able to not overspend, overconsume, but it's not in any way something that's supposed to bring you stress. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I appreciate you stopping by. I have a minimalism playlist, so if you're into it or if you want to learn more about it or what I do, go ahead and click on the link below to watch the playlist. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Let me know if you have questions. Leave a comment with more tips or whatever you struggle with as a minimalist, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, love, and light.